Muchísimas gracias por sintonizar a Talking Rock en Español. Estamos transmitiendo desde la ciudad más feliz del mundo, Anaheim, California. Yo soy su servidor, Hector Robles, y a mi lado está
Cristian Mejía.
Y vamos a hablar rock en español. Bueno, sí, señoras y señores, una vez más estamos aquí en el estudio en Anaheim, California. Tenemos a Cristian una vez más. Ok.
Creo que siempre voy a estar aquí.
Okay. Bueno, ahora tenemos unas cuantas cosas de qué hablar. Vamos a empezar con las nuevas noticias que viene con el Tri-Tone Festival que anunciaron hace poquito, ¿no? Hace como unas 2 semanas, Cristian.
Sí, así es, correcto. ¿Qué tal? How's everybody doing? It is July 1st, 2012, and I am very excited, and I couldn't wait for you to come down here so we can get this thing going, man.
Actually, you wanted me to come in on Friday, didn't you?
Yes, because good news came out on Friday, which I'm very happy and excited for this. We're having the Tri-Tone Festival being held, in Chino. This is going to happen
Chino, California.
Yeah, in Chino, California. This is going to happen October 19th through October 21st.
Oh, it's exciting, man. And
it's exciting.
This is the Latin version of
Coachella.
Coachella, and you no longer have to be like, oh, hey, is there any bands in Coachella that are Latin rock?
You know what? That was one of the things that I always wanted to see at Coachella. I actually never attended Coachella because maybe because I'm too old or I don't know.
You're not hippie enough?
I'm not so hippie maybe, but there's too much people. There's too much traffic. I mean, I love the music. I love the concept, everything about it. But
those tickets aren't cheap either, dude.
No, but if I would, but it's like, it's too much, man. I'll probably be rubbing elbows, getting all sticky and sweaty, rubbing against somebody, and that's not my thing.
Bueno,
dude.
Pues con que sean mujeres, no vatos, porque
I don't give a shit, dude. I really don't. I mean, it's too yucky. But anyways, man, I mean, this is really cool, man. This is
¿Y quién
really
quién va a estar tocando de nombres locales, man? No.
Well, I actually wanted to get to that, because there is like the biggest headliners, I guess, the biggest bands that are in there. Zoe, El Tri, Phobia, Oso Motley, representing from here. Yeah. El Gran Silencio, which is a great band. Belanova, Moenia, Los Bunkers, amazing. I love the Bunkers, dude. Inspector, La Lupita, Carla Morrison, La Santa Cecilia, another great band from here, from Los Angeles. And it is pretty amazing, man. I'm very happy. Panda, Hello Seahorse.
Dude, Hello Seahorse is actually pretty badass, dude. I saw them at the Latin Alternative Music Conference last year.
Mm-hmm.
It's something special, dude. I got to be honest with you. Like, they've got something going, and the chick has a phenomenal voice, dude. I'm sorry, it might offend some girls out there. The girl has some phenomenal voice, and the musicians are great, man.
Well, she's a chick, man. So I mean, but yeah, man, it's really cool, dude. And here's actually one of the bands that I'm kind of keeping my eye on for in this particular lineup.
Yeah,
Maneja Beto. They're pretty cool, man.
I haven't heard them, actually.
You got to check them out. You got to YouTube them. I believe they were last year at the Latin Alternative Conference.
Really?
But I know that they were in South by Southwest this year, and they're pretty cool, man. I mean, it's a really cool little band. I'm happy for them, but this is where I'm actually the most excited about, dude, because even though I already mentioned La Santa Cecilia, also Motley, obviously representing here from in LA. But there's some other bands in here, man, from LA that I'm really excited for them, man. Super excited for them.
Yeah.
One of them happens to be Víspera. I don't know. I'm not sure if pronouncing their name properly. I don't know if it's Víspera or Víspera. But you're a little bit more closer to them, aren't you?
Well, I've played with them a couple times, and honestly, I always have difficulties with that myself. I don't know, dude. I think it's Víspera, I think.
Okay, so if you guys are listening, Víspera, correct me how. Is it Víspera or Víspera?
I think it's Víspera. I think. Wow, shit, I don't know.
Then you got Upground, another cool band, very cool from East Los. You know, you have Son Soles, man. You know, doing their thing out there, man, which is really, really, really cool, dude. You have Vida Tinta, Cinco Sentido, which, you know, I've been curious, man. I've been wanting to see this band live, and it seems like I always get late. I never make it to see them performing live. And I believe this is Dioses del Tiempo. Dioses del Tiempo is also happening.
Okay, cool.
And one of your buddies' band, Galleta 3D.
Oh, yeah, yes. Carlitos. That guy's... actually, he has his own guitar pickups, which is kind of interesting, man. He's got his own... I guess he's sponsored by Seymour Duncan. And cool cats, man. Cool guys.
That's very cool, man. I hear some stories about those guys, dude, that they're pretty wicked out there. That they're very sexually active and some crazy stuff. I don't
know about that shit.
I mean, not that I'm interested, but I guess they live up the rock and roll lifestyle, right?
Oh, he does, man. Carlitos is crazy, man. That guy's crazy.
That's cool.
Oh, let me just throw this one at you. We were over at the Hilton when NAMM happened, January?
Yeah,
January this year. Yeah, and introduced me to porn stars and shit. I'm like, oh shit, I don't know if I want to shake her hand. Might get AIDS, fools, but
no, you're not gonna. Most likely, you'll probably end up getting herpes. But but
yeah, no, that guy's living the rock and roll life, dude.
That's cool, man. That's good. You know, really good for him, man. But yeah, dude, it's like I'm very excited about this thing going on, dude. Very excited. Like I said, this thing is gonna happen October 19th through the 21st at the Prado Regional Park in Chino, California. You definitely should get your tickets, man. Tickets are available already, you know, through Front Gate Tickets. And I believe the general admission is...
160 or something?
You know, it's 119. And then they have this really cool stuff.
Who's a promotion company doing this? It's not Live Nation, right?
No, this is an independent cats, man. And they're called BRC Entertainment. You know, BRC Entertainment. I think...
they're also working with the County of San Bernardino or something like that?
I believe so. I mean, definitely the County of San Bernardino has to be involved, obviously, because it's their park. They're probably sponsoring some of it, or cool. I don't know. I couldn't really say anything because I don't know much about it, but it's really cool that, you know, San Bernardino's actually taking a part of this great event, man. So I'm super excited about this.
Oh, that is exciting, man.
I don't know, like I told you earlier, a couple of weeks ago, dude, and I strongly believe that the year 2012, there's going to be a lot of surprises.
I think it definitely is.
And it's
kind of
becoming
like a comeback, dude.
I think it's the year of rock en español, man, happening.
I agree. And yeah. There's a lot of concerts, man, with Caifanes starting it out over here at the Honda Center. And Anitos Verdes are going to be playing a couple spots, I think, this summer.
You know what? And that's cool, dude. That's really cool. Like, you know, and Anitos Verdes, but it's like we've seen them.
I know.
They come here all the time. They come here all the time. You know, I mean, that really doesn't surprise me. But like the biggest surprise, Caifanes got back together and, like, you know, they started doing this tour. They made a big impact, dude, during Coachella last year. Obviously, like we talked about now on the last podcast. Couple of things going on with them. Amazing.
Well, and is there any other shows coming up at all?
The next big event happening is the Latin Alternative Festival 2012, which is part of the Live Nation that is taking place July 7th and 8th. 7th is going to be held over at the House of Blues on Sunset, and on the 8th is going to be held over at the House of Blues here in Anaheim. Things are moving on. Things are happening, man.
Cool, man. Any other things in the news that you've heard of?
Well, the biggest, though, I think that the biggest event happening is also the El Reventón from Superestrella. That is...
And you know what would actually surprise me about that event is usually with El Reventón, I kind of don't really look forward to it just because a lot of the times it's not really like Spanish rock. You know, it's usually like, what's Antonio Aguilar's kid? Pepe Aguilar?
Yeah,
and I'm like, dude, come on, man, bro. I mean, not that I don't like his music or I don't think he's talented, but it's like that's not Spanish rock, that's not Latin rock, you know, it's like a complete different genre. And they went a lot towards that, like the Ricky Martin and stuff like that. And now they're actually coming back this year, dude. I've heard a lot of the music that they're playing is a lot of the, you know, Café Tacuba and some of the oldies for the Spanish rock scene. So it's pretty exciting, dude. They're kind of trying to bring that back a little bit more, and I think it's because it's their 15th year on the air. So it's their 15-year celebration. They're getting back to the roots, and I think it's going to have a positive effect, you know, on the Spanish rock scene here.
I agree, man. I definitely agree with you that it does. I mean, especially for them being the only commercial radio, you know, that's out there and promoting this. It's fantastic, man. One of the things I would love is if they could actually, it'd be really cool, man, honestly, to see a local band, you know, at least opening up. It would be like super cool, man.
You know, that actually trips me out a little bit, dude, that a lot of these bigger bands don't have local bands open up here. It's a little weird, man.
And no, in some cases they do. When they come over, they do. They have local bands, but it's
really?
Yeah, that's for sure. It has happened. You know,
the last time I heard of anything like that happening was Materia Gris with Maná. Well, that was the last time. I mean, does Maná let anybody open up for them, or Café Tacuba, or?
I think for a big act like that, they have so much material. I don't think they need an opening act, or who knows, man. I mean,
no, I just find it weird, dude. I find it weird that a lot of the bigger artists don't. You know, or maybe I'm wrong. Maybe they do, and I just don't know about it. I mean, I could be...
No, but see, the cool thing about this, though, man, is like, for example, if you were to have like a local band for it, it's cool because it opens up another door, like, you know, where people will be attracted to it. And again, the Super Estrella will be like, you know, committing to something where it's like giving out to the community, presenting, I guess, a new and upcoming artist.
Yeah,
that would be pretty bitching, man. That would be really cool. Eso fuera fantástico para ver algo de ese nivel fuera súper bien.
Que bueno, entonces eso es más o menos las nuevas cosas que están pasando ahorita aquí en el sur de California con el movimiento. Una cosa que me gustaría empezar el podcast es, Cristian, como promotor, a ti, ¿cómo te gusta cuando los grupos se comunican contigo? ¿Cuál es la mejor forma? ¿Dirías que en correo electrónico, o que te hablen, o que te manden un press kit físico, o cómo se te hace a ti la situación más profesional?
Es una buena pregunta. Por ejemplo, a mí, sí, es lógico. Si es una banda que yo ya conozco, pues creo que varios de ellos me pueden mandar un mensaje por Facebook.
Pero ponle que sea un grupo nuevo.
Telefónico. Si es un grupo nuevo, definitivamente me gustaría ver. ¿Sabes qué? No es necesario. Esto es para mí.
Sí.
Que me manden un press kit.
Porque eso cuesta dinero y en veces...
Pero ¿sabes qué? Ok. El press kit, it's cool, es atractivo y todo, pero lo que más me gustaría, a webpage. Que me mandaran la página de internet de ellos.
Interesante, ¿eh?
You know,
yo pensaría que te llamara más la atención como un...
Sí, me gustaría recibir el álbum de
¿Pero
ellos.
en físico o electrónicamente?
Sí. Honestamente, me gustaría recibir el álbum físico. Okay, pero yo sé que tal vez pueden haber ciertas situaciones donde no. Pero puedo ser flexible. I can be flexible. You know, si me lo pueden mandar digital, 3 canciones es suficiente. Me las pueden mandar MP3.
Pero cuando te la mandan en MP3, ¿tú sí abres los MP3s? Porque sí. mucha gente no los quiere abrir. No es mucho de importancia, dirías tú, que cómo te mandaran la información. No hay una forma que te guste más que la otra.
Well, la diferencia es de que ciertas bandas están en cierto nivel. Hay unas de que no les gusta imprimir los hard copies, los CDs.
Porque cuesta dinero.
Hay mucho dinero, que les cuesta mucho dinero. A otros pues ya lo tienen digitalmente. Y esa prácticamente viene siendo la manera que ellos se puedan presentar. Pero lo que sí te digo que es más atractivo es la webpage.
Okay.
Porque cuando te mandan un link, hay ciertos que me mandaban todavía MySpace. Y nadie usa mucho ya MySpace, pero de todas maneras podía ver qué es lo que habían hecho o escuchar la música. O la otra cosa que te mandan es Reverb Nation, que viene siendo el press kit también digitalmente. Y ese sí ayuda. It's cool. El Facebook.
A mí como que se me hace que el Facebook no es una forma muy profesional para mandar. Pero no, a lo mejor estoy equivocado. Yo no soy el promotor, tú eres el promotor.
No, I mean, es porque todos lo usan. Es el social media que todos están... siguen en el momento. Hay diferentes, pero lo que sí te digo es de que fuera mejor ver la página de internet, like a web page que tengan.
Okay.
That makes a big difference. It really does. Even, I mean, I've seen a lot of bands and nobody has them. Nobody has a web page, and I wonder why. I do not understand actually why they don't have a website.
I guess that's something we could all work on. Well, and one other thing, dude, that I would ask is, if you're trying to get onto a show, how do you feel whenever like people come up to you at a show and hand you a CD? I mean, like, hey, check out my band, blah, blah, blah. I don't know if that's even a good idea because most people would toss them, right? I mean...
Again, dude, it really comes down to this, dude. Just the way you present yourself. The way you come up, you approach people. You know, eventually... people will find out who you are and stuff. And if you walk up to them, introduce yourself, saying like, you know, my name is from so and so, and I heard that you're like a promoter and this and that. Maybe I would like to have an opportunity to work with you, or we can work together, or something like that.
But I think a mistake is to walk up to a promoter and go, hey, my name is Hector, and here's my CD. I think that's a mistake, right? I mean, you don't want to be that your first impression. You want to walk up, introduce yourself, and at least so the person knows you, and then maybe send him an email or a press kit. Hey, I met you at blah, blah, blah.
No, because like, you know what, sometimes, like I said, dude, it's just your first impressions are like the ones that count the most. It's just like if you see somebody, like if somebody were to approach me and they say like, hey man, excuse me, I know that you're Christian, you know, from INTOROQ, and you used to do shows, or you're doing shows and stuff. I heard things about you, and I was wondering if I can do, you know, if you can add us to one of your shows or whatever. It comes down to that, like the way they present themselves. And if they have it ready, actually, you better have everything ready.
Like a small little packet to hand.
Something, always. Because you don't know who you're going to meet.
Oh, yeah.
You never know. So it's like, you know, it's kind of like what they say. It's get it while it's hot.
Do you think it's important as well to have like a business card to hand somebody? I mean, how important is that?
Absolutely. It's very important because keep in mind that you are in a band, but you need to get this mindset that you are a business. So you need to act professional. You know, that's what you need to do. You got to be like, it's very hard because some people say I'm just an artist.
Those
get it.
Those days are gone. I
get it, but I get it, and a lot of people get it also. But you know what? You are becoming a business model also. In reality, even though you say I'm never gonna sell myself or whatever, you are.
Well, you know what? Selling yourself, that's such a I don't know. That's an objective kind of a thing because I mean, like put it this way: a pop star. Okay, Shakira's a pop star, right? And some people go, well, she sold out. In reality, she was going to be a pop star. So, I mean, isn't that the definition of selling out anyway? I mean, like, it's not really selling out if that was your shot of that's what you wanted to be. You know, I don't know. I don't even think that the selling out thing is really even... Like, before, people would think that if you were in a commercial, you were selling out, you know? Back in the 80s or back in those days. They're like, oh, you can't be in a commercial, that you can't go commercial because that's selling out. So, I mean, I think that's kind of a passe kind of a thing now.
I have to say that's a big pile of bullshit, dude.
Yeah, I agree.
Because, hey, man, if you do something that's great and you gain fans and you gain the recognition, you gain the fans, you gain the success, you have worked really hard. Not just you, but the people, the team behind you. Well, and that's the compensation, man. I mean, some people are very difficult to accept that. you're not selling out, man, because that is the dream of a performer, to perform and for for their music to be heard, not just by one, by thousands, man.
Well, and the other thing too is I've actually gotten this from even my brother, dude. I had been adding different genres into our music, and I saw this guy. His name is Dub Effects. Super chill cat, man. This guy's awesome, and he uses a lot of electronic stuff. And I mean, I totally dig that shit. I really, really dig that kind of stuff, and which is like dubstep and stuff like that. So I started to add a little bit of dubstep into our music, and my brother's like, "Oh, dude, you're selling out. That's not true Spanish rock, blah blah blah." And I'm like, "Well, I don't feel that way because I don't feel that I'm compromising my integrity." And I think that that's like the reality of it. I mean, you have to musically grow, and if you enjoy a certain type of music, just because somebody tells you that you're selling out, I mean, you're not. Like I said, I don't think you really are. And I think a possibility, if that even exists, of selling out, I think it's when you do compromise your integrity. That's what I think, because like I said, I've actually had arguments with my brother about that. This is one of the tricky parts, I guess. I was driving back from a show one time, and I was asking my cousin. I asked my cousin, I'm all, "Hey, how was the show, dude? What'd you think about it? Did you think we messed up on this? Did you think we did something wrong there?"
Were you asking him just about you specifically, or about the in general of everything?
No, well, I asked him about us, about our band.
Okay.
And this is what he told me. He's like, "Dude, who gives a fuck, dude? There was nobody there." And that's the reality of this shit. Who gives a fuck if there's nobody there? Nobody saw you. I mean, there was like a handful of people. And granted, I mean, you got to put on a show for 5 people as you do for, 1,000. But he brought up a really good point where it's like, even if you do have all your shit together, like you're saying that we're ready to go, who fucking cares if there's nobody there? Like nobody's gonna see all that effort. So I think maybe something that needs to be focused on a little bit more is the marketing end of it. Like,
okay, time out. So you're saying there was nobody there?
Well, I mean, he meant it a little sarcastically, because there was somebody there, but like it was pretty empty. The shit was empty, dude. I'm not gonna sit here and tell you that there was 1,000 people there. It was. I'm literally telling you there was probably like 10 people there. That's maybe 15, maybe.
So let me ask this question to you.
Yeah.
When you see that, how do you feel? What's the momentum like for you at that moment? How do you treat that gig?
I'm going to be honest with you, dude. At first, I used to get bummed out. And then I came to the realization that, dude, I showed up and I'm going to put on a fucking show. I really don't care, dude. At this point, because this is the other thing, too. You never know who those 10 people might be. Because I had another situation where we were playing at a club and they literally pushed us until 11:30 at night, and they closed the bar at 2. So
actually 11:30 is a good spot.
I'm sorry, not 11:30. I apologize. 1:30, and they closed the bar at 2. So we had half an hour, and we had to set up and break down still. So you really only had enough to play maybe 4 songs, maybe. So we ended up playing, and after we got off the stage, there was a couple of guys that are like really excited about what we were doing, and I'm like, "Oh, hey, yeah." So I'm shaking their hands, talking to them, and they were promoters, dude. So the promoters were telling me, "Dude, why the hell weren't you guys playing earlier in the night? Why?" And we were just like, "Well, this is the slot that they gave us, and we played it, man." So I mean, from then on, I realized that it doesn't matter how many people are there on how you need to perform. You need to perform your best at all times, because maybe that 1 or 2 people that are there.
So you pretty much answered your question yourself.
No, yeah. But however, you still don't want to show up to a show with 10 people there, dude. I mean, you want to. A big error of a lot of bands is, and something that actually really impressed me about you when I first met you, was the fact that your marketing end on it. The marketing of your event wasn't the ghetto marketing that the rest of us do. And I include myself in this shit because I've made some pretty shitty flyers. The flyers that you were putting up said, "I'm a professional, And all you have to do is look at it, man. And if somebody sees that, they want to work with you. They don't want to work with the person who has a black and white, crappy looking flyer. So I mean, I think that, like I was mentioning, I mean, you always want to play the shows as if there's a million people there. However, you want to be strategically smart enough to put together your show in a timely manner, and also with decent looking flyers. And I think that that's something that a lot of promoters, dude, actually don't really pay attention to that. And like I said, that's what impressed me about you. I'm like, wow, this is a promoter who actually gets it, man. This is a promoter who realizes that, you know, Spanish rock isn't a joke, dude. It's a real, it's a real genre that needs to be paid attention to. And so I mean, that's something that I'm working on too as well, is trying to make sure that whenever we play shows, that we try to put on a better looking flyer than the rest of the shows, because that's how you're going to sell. That's how you sell the book, by the cover. So.
Yeah, absolutely. Yes, in a way. But going back to your question, is it doesn't matter. No, don't 10 people, 2 people. Look, man, I had one show. Okay, I did one show. Only 2 people showed up, and it had an amazing lineup, and that was pretty devastating. But
okay. Well, when during the week was it?
It was on a Tuesday night.
Well, I mean, you were. I mean, you have to know.
I was taking a risk, and I don't do, I don't have followers, or I didn't have followers at the time that would go on Tuesdays. But I mean, the bands were amazing, dude. They're amazing bands.
You know what, dude? I know the show that you're telling me about, because you had mentioned it to me before. That flyer was pretty badass looking, dude. How many flyers did you hand out, or did you post up?
I have 5,000 flyers, dude.
What?
5,000 flyers.
So what do you think the problem on the marketing was on that end? I mean, because that...
On some of them, I have to say that some of the bands were not known. Looking back at it...
Do you think it was the day, maybe? Because it was during...
I think it was a combination of several things, But it's more than anything, I think I made a bad call on the price. Well, I mean, it's still pretty decent, but maybe I should have just said $5. Come check these guys out.
Well, how much were you charging?
It was $10.
Well, that's not even bad, dude. I mean, because...
but still, I mean, they're like no... you have some... One of them is like sort of known. I mean, like their music is on actually television. They have actually licensed their stuff to several commercials.
Huh, that's a little weird, dude. I mean,
but and they have sold a lot of copies.
But that's ridiculous, dude.
I don't know.
People?
Honestly, yeah, dude. I mean, and it was like, what's the point of charging? So everybody just come on in, and
man.
yeah, and actually, I love the bands, dude. They were like amazing. Everybody just pretty much took it as a rehearsal.
Yeah.
I took it like
learning experience.
Definitely a learning experience, which it ended up costing me the venue. Which is pretty sad, man, because I really wanted to get a momentum going here in Orange County. It's Orange County, to me. I was like raised in LA, dude, and I love LA, dude. I love it. Hate the traffic though, but I love it. It's like, I lived in Hollywood, grew up in LA, lived in Hollywood, also went to school up to the valleys and all this stuff. I love it, dude. In general, I love LA.
All right. Enough of you loving LA. Go ahead.
But now my residence is here in Orange County. When I found out about Spanish rock, everything was taking place in Orange County.
Well, yeah. I mean,
there was like a big thing going on.
To a certain extent, and I know a lot of people are going to get pissed off about this here in Southern California, but I remember that the spot to hit, dude...
It was Orange County, wasn't it?
Orange County. And
that's what I'm saying.
And it was specifically the spot that I was like, dude, I can't believe that these guys are booking these kinds of bands.
JC Fandango, dude. Right?
Yeah,
it was amazing, dude. It was like... amazing.
I used to drive by there at work because I was working at the time I was working at a pizza parlor down the street from there.
All right.
And I used to drive by there and Anitos Verdes at a club that's like super small, bro. I'm like, what the those guys are there? And then Víctimas del Doctor Cerebro. You know who I saw there was Los Amigos Invisibles, dude. I saw them there, and it's like, dude,
it's a really good band.
And it was a small club, bro. And
you know, my understanding was, I don't know, I need to get my facts straight on this one, but I don't know if the owner of JC Fandango booked Enrique Bunbury or was it Héroes del Silencio. I don't know, but that was like huge. I mean,
ese club traía a muchos artistas famosos, man, y que decías, no puedo creer que están tocando.
The pioneers, dude. Yeah. The pioneers of bringing rock en español to Southern California.
Y en el punto que el rock en español estaba en la cima, a mí hasta cierto punto sí se me hace que mucho del movimiento que pasó del rock en español en el 97 por esos tiempos era aquí en Orange County, que siempre lo ponen junto con Los Ángeles y dicen todo eso, pero como te digo, específicamente en JC Fandango, y se me hace que ahorita eso posiblemente sea lo que falta de tener un club que sea como lo que era JC Fandango en esos tiempos, y se me hace que eso ayudaría mucho también, pero posiblemente, no sé, a lo mejor.
Well, I mean, there's changes, man. There's, I think he was the core, man. He was like the foundation. And that's where we're getting up all of these shows now.
And you know what, dude? The Tritone Festival, maybe that's the shit that takes this thing off, dude. But
can you imagine how cool that would be?
Dude.
That would be amazing, man. Freaking amazing, man.
I'm just excited about this whole summer because all these bands are playing, dude. All this Latin rock is starting to kick ass again, and I really it's almost like you could feel it. And I can talk to other bands, and they say the same shit, dude. That they can feel that something's happening this.
Well, you know,
summer.
This is what's really interesting, dude. I was kind of out. I was not doing anything for a while, and people were telling me, "Nah, rock en español is dead. Ya está muerto. It's dead. It's dead." I have kind of walked away from, not really walked away, but I was taking care of my own personal things, due to the accident I had and all this other stuff. I didn't see anything. I even deleted my Facebook account, all of that kind of stuff. I was like, I just need to get my shit together, fix this, and and so on, right?
Yeah.
I would hear that, from a couple people saying that it was dead. And I reactivated my account. I started doing what I do, I guess, best, looking for certain things, certain areas, finding out certain things and so on. And I'm like, wait a minute, man, there's a movement going on in here. The only thing is there's not a lot of local shows happening. That's what I see. But there's a lot of other groups coming in from outside. And that's very cool. That's very interesting. Oh, no. I told them, this guy specifically, I go, dude, you need to pay more attention to what you're seeing because there is something going on.
Yeah, and I think, like I told you, I think the only thing is that maybe we all need to step it up a tad bit and be a little more professional, starting from, like I was mentioning, the flyers, and because you do start to get people excited when they look at a flyer and it doesn't look like a backyard party flyer. It looks more pro. Even
though if you're saying, we need to get our shit together, it's more like we all need to work together.
Yeah,
because even the promoter or the promoters like myself, we will do the best of what we can do in order to make this thing successful. But it also takes part of the bands, because realistically, dude, most of the bands are no name. I mean, nobody can draw 500 people. Yeah. Let's just be honest, okay? Yeah. Nobody. So we all have to do what we need to do in order to make this thing happen. And if we make that, we all accomplish what we need. And that accomplishment is have a great show for the bands to connect with the audience and gain those fans. And I think that would be a successful show.
Okay, here's another question. All right, and I guess I'm shooting these towards you because I'm sure a lot of bands ask these same questions, and I think I had a discussion about this with you. How do you know how to price yourself for promoters and in the marketplace? When do you say, all right, you know what, we're worth playing, or we're worth $350 for us to do a show? What is the price that you think that you might be worth? Does it depend on how many people are in your band, or does it depend on how many people you could draw? I mean, you as a promoter, when can you say, okay, well, this band is worth $350, or this band is worth, $800, whatever, they decide that they're worth. And how do you as a band really decide how much you really are worth?
It's all about the numbers. That's what it comes down to. Realistically, just about the numbers. You have to be realistic. As a band, you need to know what your overhead is. What's the biggest expense? How are you going to split the piece of the pie?
But, if nobody knows you, then, what, do you think you should be playing for free a couple shows, community shows?
That
what do you
is
think
always going to happen, dude. And every time you're involved in the entertainment industry and you want to get to know, the comedians do it all the time. You go to the Thursday nights or the Tuesday night slots to open mics. You have to. Nobody knows you. Okay. You start building up your fans. You start looking at the numbers. See, and this is where you got to come in you got to know your strategy. You got to know your business. What are you attracting? How many people? Obviously, if the promoter is putting on a show, let's say you bring in, you alone as a band are bringing in, let's just say 100 people. What do you think it's fair to ask for compensation? At $10 a piece. Do you know what you would want?
Well, at $10 a piece, 100 people, you're looking at $1,000, right?
Right.
I don't know, man. I honestly don't know because...
Well, just kind of throw in a number. What do you think? What do you think it'll be worth for a trio like your band?
What I think I'm worth and what reality is might be different,
Of course it is.
From that show, if I'm bringing 100 people and it's at $10, maybe take half of the situation of what you bring in?
No, it's somewhere between like in the 40 to 60% that you might actually want to take. You start building that relationship with the promoters. Again, the promoter still is responsible for the amount of for the consumption of the alcohol.
Yeah.
Or certain restrictions.
But so
something like that. So you work together. You basically will work together, but that's where you want to be.
But I guess what I'm saying is, as a promoter, you feel that maybe the right flexibility and the amount of pay would be pretty much from 40 to 60%.
Somewhere around there.
So you could charge as least as, say, $400 if you're bringing
to $600
to $600.
Yeah.
That's what you would assume would be a fair amount.
Right.
Okay. And the reason I said 50% is because I would imagine that there's going to be some marketing behind that, and usually there's 10% of your total amount that's used for marketing. Mm-hmm. So that would technically leave the promoter with about 40%.
Right.
And if you get 50% of it, if you do have
Hollywood. You guys don't mind that? That's Hollywood, my dog barking.
Then at that point you would still have to think like, okay, well maybe I have a roadie and maybe I might have a manager as well. So technically you only end up getting another 40% out of that 50%. So that's why I was
in a way. Everybody gets a piece of the pie.
No, yeah, for sure. And that's why I was saying about 50%, because 10% of your own stuff is still going to go to your manager or whatever. There's still other expenses that you need to clear up.
But you know what? This brings up another interesting point of view too. When you're a band, a local band, the question is, when do you need a manager?
Oh, dude, that's a big mistake that many bands make. They get it too early, they get it too late. So, that's actually a very, very good thing to bring up, my friend. And actually, let me ask you this. Would you rather hear from a manager or would you rather hear from the band directly? Like from the lead singer or the bassist or the drummer, whatever, the band?
In this particular case, because as a manager and as a promoter and a musician, and since I've been around this, if it's a local band, I don't want to hear from a fucking manager. You're just a local band.
Okay.
I'm not insulting you, but it's like realistically, you need to learn also. When you have big numbers, again, dude, everything is about numbers. When you have sold more than, even nowadays, like, let's say, if you sold more than 5,000 copies, 10,000, 15.
You better have a manager.
You better have a manager. You're selling out a 300 capacity. You're moving up to 500. I think once you sell out more than 300...
I think 300 is the key, to be honest.
Yeah, once you sell out more than 300 capacity, you need to start you need to get a manager and you need to get an agent.
A booking agent?
Absolutely.
All right, well, that's definitely pretty good to know, because, I mean, that is something that a lot of people, even myself, I mean, you know, you kind of go through learning experiences with situations like that, and sometimes it'll cost you more money than not. The one thing I could tell you, when we did have a manager, because we had a manager for a little while, he saved our ass, bro. He really did save our ass on one thing. We had a situation where a guy brought... I handed my CD to some of my friends, and they handed it to other friends, and before you know it, a movie director called me, an independent movie director, and he wanted to use our music. So I'm like, yeah, fuck yeah, man, you know. And he basically said, we don't have a budget, you know, but we want to use it. And at that point, you know, we were willing to do that because it's, like I was mentioning before, it's part of marketing. I mean, they don't have money. We don't really have that big of a following at that point, and we need exposure. So let's do it, man. So, you know, we were going about that, and I told him, hell yeah. So this guy started editing the movie, and he's like, okay, I'll send you the contract. I'm like, cool, sounds good. Send me the contract. We had a manager, but I mean, it was just me and him talking, and I really didn't care. I mean, I wasn't going to be like, oh, go to my manager. But once I grabbed the contract, I started reading it, and I'm like, this stuff sounds kind of fucking shady, man. It just doesn't sound right. Everything is, you're going to give me, but it doesn't state that you're going to give me anything in return.
It's basically stating that you were going to give him.
Exactly.
And he wasn't going to give you anything in return.
Didn't even mention that he was going to give me credit, man. So I was like, okay. So I called him back, and I'm like, hey, bro, this is like a unilateral contract, dude. It's not even saying that you're gonna, you know, give us credit here and there, and so we got kind of into an argument, and I basically told him you could use it, and I'm like, you know, I'm honest with you, I'm being straight up with you, but this contract that you provided me, it's telling me that you're gonna own our music throughout the universe, dude. Not even throughout the world, bro, throughout the universe. And I'm like, okay, this is fucking bullshit. So what I'm gonna, and I told him at this point, this is, I guess, where I've fucked up. I told him at this point, now I have to give it to my manager, because at the time I had a contract with my manager. So I gave it to my manager. This guy got all pissed off at me. I mean, there's a lot of bullshit going on. Our manager finally, you know, wrote our own contract with his information and basically saying what we would get out of it and what he would get out of it. And it worked out. Everything worked out, and everything was cool for the film. And they even used our song for their trailer. But it was a really good learning experience, because I came to the realization that when you have something verbal, it's not exactly what you think, because you have to be very careful. Not that maybe the guy wasn't trying to fuck me, maybe, you know, I don't know. But if I signed that contract, I'm basically shoving that shit up my ass myself, you know? And so it was a very good learning experience, and it was very, I guess, good on the mind of saying, fuck, I don't want to deal with this bullshit, because this is legal shit that I know is out of my understanding. And our manager had a lot of contract experience, so he was able to clarify that and get that straightened out for us. So that was pretty cool. I still think that we're not at the level of getting a manager at this point, and that's why we haven't really looked for another manager. However, I do have to say that it did save our asses in that little situation.
Well, it's for different circumstances. You will need somebody. You're going to need an entertainment lawyer. You know, not just a lawyer, an entertainment lawyer. That's who you're going to need. Different opportunities will come. If you don't have a manager, just make it sound like, okay, you know what? Let me take this to my attorney so we can review it, and let me get back to you. And it's totally legit, man. It's totally honest that way. You know, that's what you need to do. Because
se me hace que eso es lo más importante, ser honesto con las personas, y si ellos no quieren que hagas eso, que lo lleves a tu abogado, entonces posiblemente te están tratando de robar, o están tratando de hacer algo que no está legítimo, o
tal vez ellos no están muy informados. Esa es otra cosa, de que no, tal vez ellos piensan de que lo están haciendo bien, pero puede ser de que no.
Y que estás insultándolos un poco por...
En cierta manera, ya, porque acuérdate, así como esta persona que te dijo de usar tu música, tal vez te estaba pidiendo que le dieras todos los derechos, like, you know, the copyrights.
And it was only a licensing situation.
Y es un licensing issue.
Yeah.
You know, que se la vas a prestar. O también puede
porque
ser,
el contrato esencialmente decía de que podían vender los discos de nosotros, básicamente, y sacar dinero. Y me decía él que no era lo que decía, pero...
No, es al revés. Ellos te tienen que pagar a ti por licensing.
Exactamente.
¿Ves? Y... oh, man. Más adelante vamos a hablar acerca de licensing.
Cuando tengamos... porque tenemos planeado contactarle a unos
sí, tenemos,
abogados de entretenimiento para poder hablar acerca de eso, porque se me hace muy importante. Como te digo, de la experiencia que yo tuve con eso, fue muy interesante y una experiencia que aprendí mucho. De decir, ok, todo está bien como lo hablamos, pero pendiente con el contrato que me vas a dar, porque necesito que leer exactamente lo que está en el contrato. Y así ya se habla derecho, no... Y así no hay problemas, man. No hay de que, hey, tú me dijiste esto, tú me dijiste lo otro. Ok, bueno, pues eso va a ser todo por ahora. Una vez más, tenemos unas cuantas cosas nada más con que terminar aquí. Y a ver, Cristian, ¿qué tenías que mencionar antes de que nos fuéramos esta noche?
Thank you to everybody, man. You know, that's able to download and listen to this podcast, Talking Rock en Español. And we're just reminding you, man, that a lot of cool shows are happening, a lot of them. So hopefully you guys can go, you know, check them out and, you know, support the Rock en Español. You have Super Estrella, you know, doing El Reventón, Latin Alternative Festival by Live Nation this Saturday at the House of Blues. You know, tickets are available for $25, $30 also. And one of the biggest ones, you know, the biggest show that we're all very excited about is the Tritone Festival.
For sure, man.
In Chino. Happening...
I believe that's October 19th.
October 19th through the
20th and 21st, I believe.
October 19th through the 21st. So just make sure you log on to... I
think it's tritonefestival.com if I'm right.
So just make sure you log on to www.tritonefestival.com and buy your tickets, man. You know, buy them and enjoy the show.
And if you got some extra cash, buy us some as well and just send them out to us.
No, just absolutely buy them and, you know, just enjoy the show, man. You know, be very supportive and have a great time. And thank you so much for listening. And we'll catch you next week.
All right. Muchísimas gracias a todos una vez más. Muchísimas gracias al Borde también que puso un artículo en su sitio de internet. Big thanks, man, to Al Borde.
Thank you. And I'm pretty sure de que vamos a estar hablando con ellos porque también es el aniversario de Al Borde, 15 años.
¿También para Al Borde?
Para Al Borde.
Okay, no sabía.
All right. So, y por cualquier cosa, comentarios o sugestiones, lo que ustedes quieran hablar, visiten nuestra página.
Tenemos allí algo que dice contacto para que puedan meter la información.
A las bandas también que escuchen, si quieren escuchar.
O que nos manden sus discos.
Nos pueden mandar sus MP3s o yo prefiero más el CD físico. Mándenme, envíenos un correo electrónico.
Tenemos dos correos, no solamente el contacto, pero si se quieren contactar directamente con Cristian, es el nombre Cristian@INTOROQ.com y para mí es Hector@INTOROQ.com.
Y más pronto vamos a poner esta información también en la página, pero bueno, ahora nos despedimos and keep rocking.
Muchísimas gracias. Hasta luego. Hasta luego. Hasta luego.